In today's show, we're looking at the rest of the week, players you can add to hopefully take you to the Fantasy Championship. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. We're going to look at the rest of the week. Players you can add for each category, players you can add for points leagues for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You need to take your own individual situation into account, how many ads you've got. Sometimes adding these players who have the bulk value over those last 4 days is useful, but sometimes you might have the acquisitions left to actually just stream through 1 to 2 players every day. And then adding these guys just because they've got that bulk of games doesn't always make sense. So just have a look and see how it works for you. But in general, adding these guys is going to give you some decent value. Let's start off with points leagues. Yahoo Points Leagues, this is Thursday through Sunday. With the absence of Miles Bridges, PJ Washington will be back, but Jalen McDaniels, I imagine, will start. And even if he doesn't, the minutes will be pretty solid. So he's a pretty solid add with 3 games. Isaiah Roby and the Thunder, they have 3 games from Thursday through to Sunday. Pokusevski's still dealing with that knee problem, so Roby might get more starts. In Detroit, I think they're just resting those guys for the rest of the season, and Killian Hayes now plays back-to-backs. So he has 3 games for the rest of the week. Malik Monk, last game was absolutely shithouse from him, but 3 games from him to end out the week. He should be much better. And then Frank Jackson. Not only do we have Corey Joseph and Wayne Ellington and these guys out, but Josh Jackson's out with a sore right tooth. And now Hamidou Diallo is going to miss their next game. So there is opportunities for Jackson to have a very, very strong role for the rest of the season. He should probably be added everywhere. For ESPN leagues, some guys that are available, and all those Yahoo guys were available in over 50% of leagues, and same with ESPN here. Somehow, Alf Stewart's still available.
Is that you, Mr. Stewart?
Well, who the hell else do you think it'd be? Get in here, you pair of flaming galahs.
Yeah, the flaming galah, Alf Stewart is still available. So is the depressed penis, Sadiq Bey, Jalen McDaniels, Darius Baisley, and Dorian Finney-Smith. These guys are all available in a ton of leagues on ESPN. And I know ESPN sometimes has some absolutely bullshit things going on, but they're around. So go and add them. And for the rest of this week, they can bring some pretty strong value to your team. For category leagues, let's look at players that we can stream in to help us in the points category. Again, I'm going with Malik Monk. We can look at it and go, he shit the bed last game, which is 100% true, but that does not indicate future performance, and I think that he's going to be a pretty solid option for that points category. Same with Jalen McDaniels with that absence there for Cody Martin and for Gordon Hayward and for Miles Bridges. McDaniels is going to have a good opportunity. The Ty Jerome one, he comes out well in my projections. I'm not 100% certain on this, just because of what the Thunder do. It's so unpredictable in terms of rotations. Now, they have 3 games, so it is a little bit of a buffer, but he could play 20 minutes, he could play 30 minutes, he could play 0 minutes. I think it's a decent expectation to think he averages 22-23 over the next 3 games, but who knows. Jalen Brunson of the Mavericks, he's been a little bit down of late, but I still like the value there. And Jordan Poole for points. There's not that many great options out on the waiver wire. And again, you've got to look at your league to see who's available, but these are some options who generally are going to be around to be added. For threes, similar names, Ty Jerome, Malik Monk, Pat Mills in that mix there as well for the Spurs. He's going to get his 20-odd minutes off the bench and hit 2 threes per game. Jordy Poole and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope of the Los Angeles Lakers. No Dennis Schroeder, of course. LeBron's going to miss at least 1 game, maybe 2, maybe more. So KCP is in the mix there to hit some threes and bring some value to your team. For rebounds, Jalen McDaniels, again, the 3 games for him, the elevated role is really going to be a bonus there. So I think that he looks like a really strong out across multiple categories and points league formats for the rest of the week. Tony Bradley, another one of those weird Thunder players where we just don't know exactly what they're going to do with that rotation. You think majority of the nights he's going to play, but what happens if he doesn't? And if Pokusevski's back, does that just mean Roby plays at center? It is a tough one to judge, but I think he's a relatively solid option. Dwight Powell in Dallas, it obviously helps when Kristaps Porzingis is out, and the rotation between Powell and Cauley-Stein has been a little bit frustrating at times. But I don't think that, look, if you're looking for rebound stats anyway, Powell is an option for us. I don't expect Jeremy Grant to play again this season, so Sekou Doumbouya in Detroit, 3 more starts. He's not going to be awesome. He's going to have some shooting issues, but maybe 8 boards a game for 3 games. Yeah, that's all right. While Dwight Howard, he can be double digits off the bench, and the Sixers have the easiest schedule in the NBA remaining from here, so don't be surprised that Embiid rests or plays limited minutes in some of these games as we move forward. For assists, Killian Hayes, again, starting. No Corey Joseph. No back-to-back restriction. Going to hurt your field goals for sure, but he can average 7-6 assists per game. Tomas Satoransky, Zach LaVine's going to come back. Now, whether that means Satoransky goes and starts again, I don't know, but he's still going to get good assist numbers off the bench. Ty Jerome in that mix. Alex Caruso, who will start almost undoubtedly for Dennis Schroeder, and he's going to have the ability to put up some assists without LeBron also. So Caruso's an option there, as is Rajon Rondo. Now, Rondo's other numbers might be an issue, but assists and steals, that's what he can bring, and he's going to have that chance. Now, it does hurt his upside with Patrick Beverley back for sure, but they are going to be sort of mixing and matching things here with the Clippers to end the season. For steals, Caruso, Killian Hayes, Jalen McDaniels, we've talked about all those guys already. Caleb Martin could be starting in place of his brother. Put up a pretty strong performance last game. We just don't know how long Cody's going to be up, but I think Caleb's going to have a solid-ish rotation role with Bridges and Hayward still sidelined. And then Caldwell Pope, another option there, who's going to be getting 30 minutes a night, you would expect. So it's a lot to... there's a lot of steals that are potentially coming. Blocks, Bismack Biyombo. Is he going to start? Do they put PJ Washington back to the 4? I don't know, but I do know that Biyombo is going to get the bulk of those reserve minutes regardless. Nick Claxton, that's a tougher one because I just don't know how they're going to use him in that rotation, but hopefully they're just ramping his minutes back up. Alex Len, well, it's Scott Brooks roulette, so who knows. Jaden McDaniels in Minnesota, and Isaiah Hartenstein, he's back today, and he is a guy that puts up big fantasy stats in limited minutes. Field goal percentage. A lot of similar names there. Tony Bradley, we've talked about. Nicky Claxton, Alex Len, Rob Lopez. Now, again, that's part of that Wizards center bullshit that goes on. But if he plays 15 minutes a night, maybe he has 70% shooting, 65% shooting, that's enough to at least put a little bit of influence on that category. Well, Jackson Hayes is going to get minutes regardless. I don't think he's going to get starters minutes at any point because that'll be Bill Hernangomez if Adams is out. But Hayes can be a very, very high field goal percentage player. And then for free throw percentage, Geordie Poole, Emmanuel Quickly, the Shart, Dwayne Bacon, with the news that it looks like Terrence Ross, Michael Carter-Williams, Otto Porter, James Ennis, and Chuma Okeke won't play again this season. JJ Redick, so Bacon's going to get a lot of minutes there, and he doesn't do a huge amount, but he can hit free throws. JJ Redick and Shake Milton can be an option there as well. Guys, I wish you all luck, but before I wish you luck, wouldn't it be great if there was a pocket-sized guide that helped you sleep, focus, act, and be better? There is. And if you had 10 minutes, Headspace can change your life. Headspace is your daily dose of mindfulness in the form of guided meditations in an easy-to-use app. Headspace is one of the only meditation apps advancing the field of mindfulness and meditation through clinically validated research. So whatever the situation, Headspace really can help you feel better. If you're overwhelmed, Headspace has a 3-minute SOS meditation for you. If you need help falling asleep, Headspace has wind-down sessions their members swear by. And for parents, Headspace even has morning meditations you can do with your kids. It's great if you're just looking to de-stress. I'm going to need to do that after this NBA season, that's for sure. And it is backed by 25 published studies on its benefits, 600,000 5-star reviews, and over 60 million downloads. You deserve to feel happier, and Headspace is meditation made simple. Go to headspace.com/lockedonnba. That's headspace.com/lockedonnba for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. This is the best deal offered right now. Head to headspace.com/lockedonnba today. And that will do it for today's show. Don't forget to follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on Odyssey. While on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up, and leave your comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.